We're gonna pause for 1 second, Ms. Marquez. We're gonna have Ms. Hazel just translate everyone. Ms. Hazel.
Buenos días. Tuvimos la oportunidad en el rato anterior de introducir todos los líderes de la escuela. Introdujimos a la directora, la subdirectora, la asistente directora, la directora de la escuela intermedia, yo soy la directora, yo soy la asistente directora en la escuela superior. Ahora vamos a continuar con ¿cómo se dice? Con lo que vamos a hacer después.
Okay, so we're back in school 5 days a week, starting on September 13th. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat or raise your hand or just take yourself off mute and ask a question.
Vamos a comenzar en persona el 13 de septiembre. Si tienes una preguntas o tienes cualquier cosa que quieras decir, póngalo en el chat y le vamos a responder.
The hours of school are the same as they have always been. They will be 8 to 3 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Wednesdays, we will continue to have a half day of 8 to 12.
El horario seguirá igual. Comenzaremos a las 7:57 o 7:50 de la mañana. Terminaremos a las 3 de la tarde, de lunes a martes. El miércoles seguirá un día, terminaremos a las 12 y entonces seguiremos el jueves y viernes el mismo horario de lunes y
Ms. Yeah. I see Ms. has a question about Metro cards. And yes, all students who do not have busing provided will receive a Metro card. It should be the first day of school, I would think.
Hay una pregunta que si los niños conseguirían tarjeta para el tren, del Metro Card. Y sí, todos los estudiantes que no tienen transportación vía autobús conseguirán quizás el primer día su tarjeta para usar el metro, para usar el tren.
This year, we have worked very hard to find an after-school program that will extend the learning for students and also focus on their interests. So Cosby schools will be 8 to 3 every day. And then if you attend after school will be Ms. Chandler.
Well, we're working with a great program. After school is going to fill in those hours right when we end. So after school is going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. on the full days, which are Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. On Wednesdays, we have a great program from 12 to 6 p.m. So for parents who are concerned, you have middle school students or even high school students who want to get involved in something productive after school, they can stay here and keep learning. We're going to have a mixture of different programs and classes like game development, but of course we are going to make sure that the students are getting what they need, and we will be having tutoring. So tutoring, where we're going to communicate directly with the company what topics are being taught in the class so students can get extra homework help and tutoring time after school.
Durante el año habrá programa después de la escuela. El programa comenzará de los martes y los lunes y martes, jueves y viernes. El programa es de 3 a 6. Los miércoles, que es el día que terminamos a las 12, el programa comenzará de 12 a 6 y tenemos variedades de diferentes cosas para que los niños se puedan aprender. También habrá, ¿cómo se dice? Tutoring para los estudiantes, no estoy segura cómo se dice, los estudiantes para que puedan seguir aprendiendo y motivándose en la escuela.
And we just have 2 parents that have questions. They have their hands raised. Ms. Shedley.
Hello, buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, sorry. The question that I have, the transportation for the kids, what about the buses? Giselle she was receiving the bus transportation.
Don, I think you put in the information, right, of who to reach out to.
Yeah, so you use your child's
Okay.
OSIS number and you have to go into your New York City schools account.
All right, thank you.
And this is only if your child has busing on their IEP.
That's correct.
Yes.
Mhm. Thank you.
Ms. Santiago, oh, sorry, Ms. Marquez.
I see Tatiana's asking how many students are in a class. Students will be 3 feet from head to head in the classroom. So in our bigger classrooms, we would have 20 students, and in our smaller classrooms, we would have 10 students.
Hay una pregunta de que cuál sería la distancia entre los estudiantes. Entre los estudiantes va a haber una distancia de 3 pies de cabeza a cabeza. Las clases más grandes tendrán 20 estudiantes y hay clases que tendrán, yo creo que 10 a 12 estudiantes.
Ms. Santiago, you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to know, would the students be staying in one classroom and the teacher will be rotating, or would the students be rotating to go to each class after every period?
Yeah, so they are going to be staying in the same classroom and the teachers are going to be rotating from class to class to keep the students in the same cohort as much as possible. And so they're not intermingling with a lot of different students throughout the day.
Okay, good. And also, like, would they have like, because it's gonna be a lot for them to be sitting there all day, would they have like breaks in between where they can like stretch and whatnot?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and at least, you know, definitely for lunch, they're going to also be able to move around a little bit more and at least leave the classroom. But yes, students are going to be able to have that breaks to stretch and things like that because they will be, you know, in that same classroom all day.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, la pregunta fue que si los estudiantes estarán en la clase o si las maestras van a estar moviendo entre clases. Los estudiantes van a estar en la clase, los maestros van a entrar a la clase. Eso quiere decir que los estudiantes no salen de esa clase y eso fue hecho para minimizar el contacto con los diferentes estudiantes y para poder saber si hay un problema entre los grupos que vamos a tener en las clases.
Thank you. We have one more question. I see a hand raised, Tatiana.
Yes, I wanted to know how strict are you guys gonna be in school about the students actually keeping their mask on while in school? Because it's teenagers mostly, so you know how that goes.
So we've actually had summer school for the last 2 months, starting in July and August, and our students have been fantastic. I think, you know, even though they are teenagers, we've sat them down and had a discussion as to the safety of keeping your mask on and how keeping your mask protects other people around you. But we've been realistic. If a student is, gets behind your ears or sore and different things like that, you know, they just let the teacher know or culture team member and they can take a mask break. So we are realistic and our students kept the mask on through summer school and we had 0 cases. Like, it was amazing. So let's believe in the kids and we'll see.
So, la pregunta fue que si vamos a ser estrictos en el procedimiento de mantener las mascarillas en las caras para los estudiantes. Y el beneficio que tenemos es que tuvimos escuela este verano y no tuvimos ni un caso. Los estudiantes, la mayoría de los estudiantes se mantuvieron con sus mascarillas puestas. Entonces vamos a creer en los estudiantes y esperar que van a seguir los reglamentos. Pero sí tenemos reglamentos en pies para que eso pase.
Oh, what about uniform? Do they have to wear the same uniform from last year? My daughter went to 11th grade.
Yes.
So yes, the uniform from 10th grade to 11th grade is the same. We're going to discuss the uniforms. We also did send home some mailing communications through email about the uniform. So just double check to make sure that you are receiving that, but we're going to discuss uniforms.
No problem. Thank you.
Ms. Hazel,
I'm sorry, I'm at work. I cannot see my face. I'm working right now, so I can block my video, okay? But I'm listening.
It's okay, don't worry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
for being here.
no problem.
I'm going to take Emily Bachman's question about the students with IEPs for reading and math. So since we are cohorting and we want to track and trace, whatever students are in the class from the very morning will be the same students that they are in the class with for the entire day. So they will be cohorted The students with IEPs will be cohorted in that class for the full day.
So, los estudiantes que están en clase van a comenzar juntos en la mañana y se mantendrán juntos de mañana hasta que termine la escuela en la tarde. Los estudiantes no se van a mixear, creo que esa es la palabra, pero no se van a juntar, se van a mantener en su grupo.
All right, we are going to take another question and then we're going to get back to the agenda because some of the questions you guys are asking, we actually thought about ahead of time and are going to be giving that information too. Nikisha?
You about to answer the question anyway, I think, for the uniforms? Because
Yes,
I had
yes.
went to the website already. I went to the website already and it's only showing uniforms for the burgundy color, not the black and gray.
Okay, so Ms. Pacheco is going to discuss uniforms and then we'll also talk about some alternatives in the meantime.
Good afternoon. So middle school and high school uniforms are different. The middle school uniform, students are expected to wear khaki bottoms, whether it's pants or a skirt, and a burgundy top. They can wear any shoe attire as long as it's a safety shoe. So unfortunately, there are no slides or Crocs allowed. So please ensure that your middle school student is not wearing Crocs or slides to school for safety reasons. High school is different. High school students are expected to wear black pants and they have a choice of either a gray or white shirt. Now, we would prefer that our uniforms, the shirts, have the logos. However, we do know that it's difficult to locate and they tend to be a little bit more expensive. So please do not feel that you need to have the logo on the shirts. Solid colored polos are just fine. If you would like the logo, Ms. Downs, the parent coordinator, will be selling the logos, which are relatively easy to kind of just iron on onto the clothing. Now, many of our students prefer to wear sweaters, rather hoodies. We ask that the hoodies also, maintain the same color. So for middle school, if your student would like to wear a hoodie or a sweater, we ask that it be burgundy. And in the high school, it can be either black or gray or even white. Bueno,
Sorry, go ahead.
Estamos discutiendo los uniformes. El uniforme de la intermedia es diferente al uniforme de la secundaria. En la intermedia tienen que usar camisas color, ¿cómo se dice? Burgundy.
Vino.
¿Cómo? Vino y pantalones khaki. Los pantalones, las hembras pueden usar farda, los varones usan pantalones. No se permite zapatillas o Crocs. En la high school pueden usar pantalones negros y camisas, camisas, ¿cuál es la camisa?
Gris.
Gris y negra con pantalones negros. Igualmente no se permite zapatillas y Crocs. Los estudiantes que están en el grado 9 a grado 12 usan el uniforme de secundaria y los estudiantes de 6 a 8 usan el uniforme de la intermedia.
Thank you. So for anyone who noticed that the uniforms might be back ordered or anything like that from the website, we also do allow, and this is not just because it's back ordered, but throughout the school year, if you wanted to purchase a collared shirt for your student, so for the middle school, if you got like a collared shirt, I know they have them like on Amazon or like Old Navy, just a collared shirt in that burgundy maroon color would be fine. Same thing for high school. The black, white, gray just has to be a collared shirt. We also going to be having the patches here at school where the parent coordinator, I believe, is going to be selling them at a really reasonable price. So they could take that and iron it on, or, in the meantime, while they wait for the uniform to be ordered in, or that is an alternative.
Si no encuentran los uniformes en la tienda que tenemos en el internet, pueden ir a Amazon y comprar camisas que tengan cuello, los colores que pertenecen a la diferente escuela. Y si no tienen el logo aquí, Lo pueden comprar en la escuela, lo vamos a vender a un precio bien razonable, así que si no lo encuentran, no hay problema, lo pueden comprar en la escuela y después que tenga cuello la camisa, todo estará bien. El color tiene que pertenecer al color de la escuela, so intermedio con los colores del intermedio y la secundaria igualmente.
All right, are there any other questions about uniforms? I hope we did touch on it.
Ms. Hazel, I see a question about IEPs in Spanish. Can you translate the question for me?
Oh, so she's asking about transportation. She says that her son has transportation in the IEP. Will the son be able to get transportation?
I think Donna posted the link that she has to go to. Donna, can you repost the link again for Bernice? Donna just reposted the question again.
Berenice, pregunta si el hijo tiene el servicio o usted sabe que tiene el servicio.
Mi hijo tiene el servicio, sé que está el servicio, pero aún no he tenido ninguna información dónde lo van a recoger, a qué hora, nada de eso.
Ok, van a poner un link en el internet, de la escuela, para que usted pueda ir y hacer todos los procedimientos para poder conseguir la información que tiene que conseguir.
Muchísimas gracias.
No hay problema.
Thank you. Lakeisha?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have another question. The question is, what about the supplies, like the disinfected? What do they have to bring, like, to keep them safe from germs and stuff?
I'm going to take on this whole subject right now. So I'm going to speak about the COVID protocols for the school for the upcoming school year. Masks will be required at all times in the building for both staff and students. We ask that you bring a mask in the morning. If your student loses the mask, we have many, many masks that we will be able to give your student a new mask. But masks at this point are required in the building. Prior to coming to school, your child has to fill out a health screening questionnaire. It's 4 questions. And when they walk in, they have to show it on their phone that they filled it out. The questionnaire, if you go onto our website, is linked to our website. And it just says, are you experiencing symptoms? Are you vaccinated? Have you been in contact with anyone who has symptoms? And then it asks if you have taken your temperature today and your temperature is normal. So every day that screener has to be filled out. So you want to do those 2 things, Ms. Hazel?
Ms. Hazel, you're muted.
Sorry, I muted you, Ms. Hazel.
El protocolo de COVID sería lo siguiente. Todos los estudiantes tendrán que usar mascarilla el día entero. Si los estudiantes no tienen mascarilla o se les olvida la mascarilla, nosotros tenemos suficientes aquí que si llegan sin mascarilla le tendremos para que usen. Siguiente, todos los estudiantes tendrán que hacer un cuestionario antes de llegar a la escuela diariamente, preguntándoles si se sienten mal, si han tenido fiebre, si han estado en contacto con personas que tienen COVID, si han salido del estado. Estoy segura que muchos lo han hecho anteriormente, ese cuestionario será diariamente.
Thank you. We have a question from Ms. Hernandez.
Sí, yo quiero saber acerca de los zapatos del uniforme. Se dijeron todo, pero no se refirieron a los zapatos.
So I want to know the shoe requirement for the uniform. A lot was mentioned, but nothing was mentioned about the shoes.
So long as they don't wear slides, open shoes or Crocs, they can wear sneakers or shoes. They just can't wear anything that has an open back and an open front.
Después que
Perdón, me refería al color. Sí dijeron de los zapatos, pero me refería específicamente al color de zapato.
No tenemos requerimientos cuando se refiere al color. No importa el color, después que no sean zapatillas o Crocs o que estén abiertos adelante o atrás, se puede usar lo que sea, cualquier color.
Gracias.
If your child does not have a phone, they will have to have their temperature taken when they walk into the school and fill out the questionnaire right there. There's a paper questionnaire, but they will have to have their temperature taken before they come in the building if they don't have a phone.
El cuestionario del que me refería es un cuestionario digital. Entonces, si su hijo o hija no tienen su teléfono, tendrán que hacer el cuestionario en papel y su temperatura se le tomará cuando entren al edificio, a la escuela.
Thank you. We have one more question. iPhone Matherian.
Yes, I was asking about the uniforms, especially the bottom, the black. She's going to high school. So about the bottom pants, is it no jeans or can they wear soft jeans material?
No, black slacks, not jeans.
Okay.
La pregunta fue si se puede usar pantalones maones o de jeans. No se puede usar. Tiene que ser pantalones que no sean de ese material.
Ms. Mark, you're going to continue?
Yes. So parents, we are doing everything we can to keep this school as safe as possible. We have been testing. At this point, we've had 0 cases in the building. So we are really being very strong with the rules we're setting up. So it's important to know and understand cohorting and even speak to your child about cohorting. We will have meetings the first few days and explain to your children the reason we are cohorting. But if there is a case, we want to know who your child's been in contact with so that we could close that classroom down immediately. So all students will be in the same room all day long. The teachers, we bought them little carts, will be pushing around and going from class to class. And the teachers will have English, then their English teacher will leave, then the math teacher will come in and so forth. But cohorting is going to happen 100% this school year.
Estamos tratando de hacer todo lo posible para mantener a su hijo y a su hija protegidos cuando están en escuelas. Entonces vamos a agrupar a los estudiantes. Cuando su hijo o su hija lo pongamos en un grupo, se quedan en ese grupo. Así podemos hacer proceso de contactar y de localizar. Si hay un caso, se hace más fácil para saber qué niño y qué grupo fue contaminado. El verano entero estuvimos aquí y no tuvimos ningún caso, entonces estamos confiados que también durante el año podamos mitigar cualquier problema que pueda aparecer.
We have purifiers in every classroom and we have hand sanitizers in every classroom.
Tenemos purificadores y ¿cómo se dice? Hand sanitizers, todos sabemos lo que es en español, en todas las clases.
Parents, we really ask for your help that if your child is not feeling well or who has been in contact with someone that has symptoms or has been diagnosed with COVID, that you call the school and that we make arrangements with you on how to get your son or daughter the education they need while staying at home. But as much as possible, if they're showing even the slightest symptom, please keep them home.
A lo más posible, si su hijo o hija tienen cualquier síntoma, el síntoma más poco, queremos que ustedes los mantengan en casa. Si su hijo o hija han estado en contacto con una persona que es sintomática o tiene síntomas de COVID, le apreciamos que mantenga a su hijo en casa porque así vamos a poder mitigar cualquier problema que aparezca y ¿cómo se dice? problemas con el COVID.
If your student starts to show symptoms while they are in the building, they will immediately be isolated in a room. We will have an adult there to supervise them, but it will be you who has to come pick them up because of their age and because they're showing symptoms. We will call you right away and say your child has a fever, or your child is sniffling, or has a cold. Please, for the safety of everybody, come pick up your child.
Si su hijo o hija enseña cualquier síntomas de COVID durante el día escolar, vamos a sacar a su hijo de la clase, lo vamos a poner en una aula aislado de los otros estudiantes y vamos a llamarlo a ustedes inmediatamente para que vengan a recoger a su hijo o hija de la escuela.
Can we underline something about that? If your child comes to school and has only been here for 5 minutes because they've already come into our care and they go straight to the nurse, even if they have not attended a class, because they are now under our care, if they have a fever or not feeling well or something like that, they still have to be picked up by someone 18 years old or over.
So, si su hijo o hija llegan y los primeros 5 minutos, acabando de llegar a la escuela, nosotros nos damos cuenta que el niño tiene síntomas, aunque sea leve, lo vamos a llamar a usted para que venga a recoger a su hijo o hija, porque después que está en nuestro edificio, en nuestra custodia, entonces nosotros tenemos que llamar a una persona para que venga a recogerlo.
And we will not release your child to anyone who is not on the contact list. So if you want to say, my neighbor's coming to pick up the child, we will not release your child to your neighbor. It has to be someone who's on the contact list as an allowable pickup.
No le vamos a dar a su hijo o hija a ninguna persona que no esté en la lista de personas que pueda recoger a su hijo. Así que si usted está trabajando y dice, bueno, voy a mandar a mi vecino, no va a ser aceptable. Tiene que venir usted, una persona que esté en la lista de personas que puedan recoger a su hijo o hija.
If your child comes into the building and does not pass the temperature check, they have a temperature of 100 degrees or more, we will move them into an isolated space and call you to pick them up.
Si su hijo entra y no pasa el examen de temperatura, lo vamos a poner en una aula aislado y lo vamos a llamar a usted para que venga a recoger a su hijo o hija.
At this point, students do not have to be vaccinated to come to school. We recommend that you get vaccinated. If you need a place, we have one of our board members is offering, has a space where you can go to get vaccinated, and we will help you with that. But you do not have to be vaccinated.
Hasta ahora los requerimientos no requieren que los estudiantes estén vacunados, pero si ustedes necesitan información de dónde ir a conseguir su vacuna para su hijo, tenemos personas parte de la escuela, que son parte de las escuelas que no tienen, no han dado ofertas para hacer que o darnos a los padres métodos para poderse vacunar.
Isaiah, I see your comment, and we spoke to you about this over the summer, and we spoke to your family about this as well. During lunch, masks are down for students to eat, but besides that, protocols will be followed, and Ms. D will discipline students who create an unsafe environment.
Ella le está hablando a un estudiante que estuvo aquí en el verano, con el cual tuvimos conversaciones sobre los problemas que él vio cuando se viene a mantener la mascarilla puesta con sus estudiantes o con sus amigos de aula.
Now we're going to go on to what our protocols are going to be regarding.
Can we stop for 1 second? Ms. Santiago's had her hand raised for a second, and then there's a question in the chat that's probably very important to everyone. Ms. Santiago?
No, it's okay. Ms. McCall answered my question. I'm sorry.
Sorry, the hand never came back down. We'll put
I
it
don't know
down.
how to put it down.
Okay, the other question from the chat that looked like it was important was how will the students be spaced out for lunch? The same 3 feet or larger distance, being that they will be eating with masks down. We are utilizing every nook and cranny that we have here in the building, even our shared spaces. So students we're gonna be using outside when it's warm weather, we're gonna be using auditorium space, we're gonna be using yard space, cafeteria space with the students spaced apart, and even in the gym space. So students will be 3 feet and larger distances apart. If they are outside in the fresh air, it's the onus is on them to make sure they are still staying apart, but they are in open air, which doesn't require, more than 3 feet to be apart. Mr. Brockington, did that answer your question?
He wrote yes in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Durante el almuerzo, los estudiantes estarán a 3 pies de distancia, igualmente como estarán en la clase, o lo más posible.
Okay, Ms. Markey?
Okay, see the question, can we have the Chromebook back just in case my child needs to stay home? Absolutely, we're gonna do one-on-one computers this year where each student will have their own computer. We want you to be prepared just in case there is a class closing. We're hoping not, but just in case, every student, we have plenty of Chromebooks for everybody, not to worry.
Todos los estudiantes tendrán su computadora personal. Eso es en caso que si tengamos que cerrar la escuela, todos los estudiantes tendrán acceso a sus computadoras para llevar a casa.
Okay, so we're going to move on now to what our decision is regarding COVID testing. So the DOE, the Department of Education, is providing testing the DOE schools 10% every other week. We were uncomfortable with that as a school. So what we're doing is going to be told to you by the lovely Miss McCaw.
Hi, everyone. So over the summer, we worked with a company where we did have weekly testing, which it is a PCR test. I know that there's a lot of parents asking that question, what type of test it is. It is a PCR test, and it is a saliva based test. It is not the nasal swab, where your child is going to be given, think of the tubes that they use when they draw out blood. It's about that size, and they're going to be asked to provide a saliva sample. And a good amount as well. It takes a little bit of practice, but everyone will be able to do it. And that will happen. We're doing 25% of the population each week. So we cannot stress how important it is. In the next couple of days, you'll be receiving a COVID testing consent form. And it's going to be where you can sign it via DocuSign, okay? We cannot test your child unless we have consent and all of the information on that form signed. All right, we are encouraging that we get as many of these consent forms signed as possible, because we know that this is a great way to help us know and prevent any outbreaks or anything like that, and it's to help keep your child safe. Okay, those of you that completed the consent form over the summer will need to sign another one for this school year, because that consent form was just for the summer. Sorry, Ms. Hayes, I realized that was a lot. I'll let you translate.
Bueno, durante el verano nosotros estuvimos haciendo pruebas todas las semanas, semanalmente. Los estudiantes tenían que darnos un poco de saliva, es mucha saliva, en un tubo como los tubos que uno usa cuando le van a sacar sangre. No es una prueba, la prueba de la nariz, una prueba de saliva. Entonces, todos los padres tienen que dar consentimiento para que esa prueba sea hecha cuando comienza la escuela. Los padres que firmaron consentimiento durante el verano tendrán que hacerlo otra vez. No podemos hacerle prueba a sus hijos si ustedes no nos dan consentimiento a que se le haga prueba de COVID a su hijo aquí en la escuela.
And then I see there's a question about if the testing is mandatory. It is not, and thank you, Ms. Chandler. I see that you responded. It is not mandatory, but that's why we're hoping to get 100% participation with parents signing the consent form, giving us the permission to have your child tested.
So, las pruebas no son mandatorias, pero nos gustaría que 100% de los padres den el consentimiento para que los estudiantes se le haga la prueba cuando vengan a la escuela.
So, and the other reason why we're doing saliva-based is your child will be getting the kit. If your child is part of the 25% that week, your child will be getting the testing kit. They can take it home. They can do the saliva sample once they wake up in the morning, because that is when you can get the best sample that, you know, isn't messed up with any food or any drinks or anything like that. And then they bring it to school, and then they hand it in to the testing company that we're working with. And you should be getting your test results between 12 to 24 hours. During the summer, they were very, very fast with giving us our results.
Nosotros vamos a hacerle prueba a 25% de los estudiantes, pero va a ser un rotamiento de 25%. Así que dependiendo la semana, vamos a hacerle prueba a 25%, a un grupo de 25%. La compañía que nosotros usamos en el verano fue muy eficiente. Ellos nos daban las pruebas en 24 horas. Les aconsejamos que los niños hagan su prueba. Le vamos a dar el tubo. Los niños van a llevarle el tubo a la casa tempranito en la mañana, el día de la prueba. Se les recomienda que lo llene de saliva hasta donde lo tienen que llenar. Esa es la hora donde la saliva es mejor para detectar cualquier COVID o cualquier enfermedad que los estudiantes tengan. Entonces vamos a pedir que lo traigan en la mañana y entonces así se puede hacer eficientemente.
Ms. Hazel, you have one in your office on the left-hand side. If you want to just show parents so they can see, it's just a tube.
While Ms. Hazel grabs that, great idea, Ms. Chandler. I do also want to mention that we are going to be performing gateway testing for the beginning of the school year, in which we are like to test as many students as possible before the start of the school year. On September 9th will be for new students when you come for your orientation. And on September 10th, for returning students, you will be sent a schedule. And we need you to please follow what that schedule is specifically, because we don't want overcrowding and we want to make sure we can maintain social distancing.
La primera semana queremos hacerle prueba a todos los estudiantes. El 9 sería para los estudiantes nuevos y el 10 sería para los estudiantes que vuelven a la escuela. Este es el tubo. Este es lo que le vamos a dar a los estudiantes semanalmente. I guess you can say it in English, Chandler.
This is the tube. This is the tube that students will put saliva in. The testing company asks us to have it filled up to just use your finger to show the bottom of the barcode. But
Yes,
as long as they have sufficient sample, it is good enough for testing. The student does it in the morning when they first wake up, screws it down, puts it inside of the Ziploc bag and just brings it to school. There would be a box here. They drop it in the box. The lab is on site on that particular day, and they take it and just scan it with the barcode.
Bueno, los estudiantes tienen que llenar hasta acá con saliva. No puede ser espuma, tiene que ser saliva sólida. El laboratorio estará aquí en la escuela esta mañana. Le van a coger esto aquí y van a procesar todo en la escuela esta mañana cuando su estudiante tenga su prueba.
So for any parent who is doubtful or a little worried about personal information being released when it comes to the testing, the only information that is being released is what you're going to see and what you're going to put on that COVID authorization form, which is just name, date of birth, your cell phone number, and your email address. Your cell phone number, your email address, because the results come to you that same night so that you can receive it as the parent of a minor. If your child is 18 years old or older and you would like for them to receive the results instead, you can put their information down, but that's all the information that is given out.
La información de su hijo o hija será protegida. La única información que vamos a tener es la información que usted nos da cuando dé el consentimiento para que su hijo o hija le hagan la prueba. Nosotros no vamos a darle la información a nadie, es solamente para los propósitos de hacer la prueba aquí en la escuela y mantener a todo el mundo protegido.
Thank you, Ms. Hazel. I think that was that. There's a question in the chat. A parent is asking for more clarification on how cohort schedules work. So cohort scheduling is not alternating days of the week. Your child will be in school 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, with the schedule that we previously mentioned. What cohorting is that, for example, I'm in a class and there are 15 other students. Those are the students that I have contact with only throughout the day. So if there's a case that happens in a class across the hall, my parent would not need to be contacted because I should have had no contact with that student. The health department and the state is requiring us to be able to track and trace who every student had contact with. And the only way to safely do it is to keep students in groups together.
El agrupamiento de los estudiantes, otra vez, es una manera en que nosotros vamos a poder mantener a los estudiantes aislados de los otros estudiantes. So, por ejemplo, si un caso aparece en la aula número 2, su hijo no está en la aula número 2, su hijo está en la aula número 1, no vamos a llamar a casa porque su hijo no tuvo contacto con ese grupo. El agrupamiento hace que el estudiante se quede en esa clase desde la mañana hasta la tarde. Entonces, ese estudiante se le minimiza el contacto con otros estudiantes en los diferentes grupos. Entonces, el agrupamiento es para eso, para mantener a los estudiantes juntos y mitigar la posibilidad de que haya contagio entre la población grande de los estudiantes.
2 questions we have. Ms. Montiel, you can go first.
Hi, I'm a little bit confused. You said they're gonna do the testing on September 10 on the school, so it's not gonna be on the first day.
Correct. So that testing is called gateway testing. So everyone comes in and gets tested before the school year gets started. So we will be starting, that'll be on that Friday, we'll start school on the Monday. That way, if any positive results come up, they will be before everyone comes back in and we can take steps from there.
La prueba será el 10, no el 13. El primer día de la escuela es el 13. La prueba será el 10 porque es una prueba de apertura para que si hay cualquier caso antes de comenzar la escuela, uno pueda mitigar este problema y estar adelante y saber quién tiene posibilidad de tener el COVID.
Another question is, do we have to make an appointment, or how do I know when it's my turn to go?
You don't have to make an appointment. We're going to send a schedule out based on Alan's grade, what grade he's in, and then you would just come for that particular time slot. If for some reason you couldn't make it for that time slot, you just reach out to one of us and we'll get him in for a particular time slot that works with you.
Do you know what 10th grade time slot will be?
I'll know by the end of the day when I'm done making it.
Okay.
So, no hay que hacer cita para hacer la prueba. Nosotros vamos a mandar el planteamiento de cada grado quizás mañana o a final del día cuando se termine, pero no hay que hacer cita. Nosotros vamos a saber y usted va a saber en adelante cuándo su hijo tiene que conseguir la prueba o cuándo se le va a hacer la prueba.
Tatiana, your hand is raised.
Yes, my question was, will the kids still be having any sports going on during the school year? And how, if they are they planning to plan events or even parent-teacher conference? Like, how would that be taken care of since we just can't come in large groups into the classroom?
We are looking forward to having sports, and we are following all the guidelines. To have sports, you must be vaccinated. You cannot take part in sports without a vaccine, and that is not an OCS rule, that is a New York City rule. But we are planning on having vaccines. For Parents Teachers Night, we thought we had such a great turnout during COVID when we were able to do it with Zoom, that we will continue to do it with Zoom. And also, if you would like to come in, you can do that as well.
El requerimiento para deportes es que todos los que van a estar involucrados en cualquier deporte tienen que tener la vacuna. Eso es mandado del Estado, eso no es No es regla de la escuela, es una regla de la ciudad y el estado que todos los estudiantes que vayan a jugar deporte tienen que tener la vacuna. Las conferencias de padres serán por internet, por Zoom.
We have another question, Christine.
Hi, yes, I wanted to know when the kids go in for the COVID testing, can they go alone or does an adult have to be with them?
They can go alone.
So as long as we have the consent form signed, they can
Okay.
go by themselves, as long as we have that signed.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a question in Spanish. Are students going to eat in the classroom or are they going to eat in the lunchroom?
I'm taking it. Chandler told me I'm hogging the questions, so I was trying to behave. We are going to split the students into 3 different areas for lunch. And we are going to rotate the 3 areas so students can get hot lunch. Well, actually, we can have hot lunch delivered to all 3 areas, we just found out. So one set of students will eat in the cafeteria. We just ordered chairs for our big gym, which we're also turning into a cafeteria. And then we are using the auditorium, which we are also turning into a cafeteria. While some other schools are putting a lot of students into the cafeteria, we are splitting our students amongst our 3 largest common areas.
Bueno, vamos a dividir a los estudiantes en 3 grupos. Un grupo comerá en la cafetería, un grupo comerá en el auditorio y un grupo comerá en el gym. Nosotros no vamos a meter todos los estudiantes juntos en un lugar y divisamos un plan para poder dividir a los grupos para mantener distancia y que puedan comer lo más cuidadosamente.
She should have also added in, of course, we have benches outside for when the weather is nice. Students are going to be outside in a rotating schedule, so they all will be allowed to go outside for recess to get to stretch and get fresh air. And also the custodians for the building let us know that they are ordering the DOE purifiers for the cafeteria. So there will also be purifiers in the cafeteria.
Ok, so habrá purificador en las cafeterías y los lugares comunes donde van a comer los estudiantes. También compramos sillas para acomodar a los estudiantes en el gym. Y también cuando la temperatura esté buena, vamos a dejar a los estudiantes comer afuera y vamos a rotar a los estudiantes para que todos tengan la oportunidad de comer afuera.
Thank you.
Cosby, you do not have to be vaccinated to attend the after-school program. You only have to be vaccinated to participate in sports.
Mr. Riley?
We're not able to hear you.
All right, we'll see what's happening with him. We'll take another question in the meantime. iPhone Mathurian.
Will we fail gym or sports if we're not vaccinated?
No.
Okay.
You do not have to be vaccinated to be in school. So gym is a class during school. So you will not fail because of that.
Okay.
You got to participate and do your, exercises and stuff.
So what did you mean when you said, I don't know if it was you, but what did you mean when you said that we had to be vaccinated to play sports?
After school sports, team sports, like the basketball team, the volleyball team, those kind of teams. To Gloria Bianca Cruz, remote option is not an option in New York City this year. That also is not an OCS decision. That is a citywide decision. So there will not be a remote option.
So, la opción de quedarse en casa y coger clase por internet no es una opción. Es una decisión que se hizo a nivel de la ciudad. En la ciudad de Nueva York, eso no es una opción este año.
Monica, Staff PD Day is a day where staff gets professional development and students do not come to school. So that happens every year forever, where you have 2 staff professional development days, and it's a day for teachers, not for students.
En el calendario, cuando vean Staff PD, eso quiere decir que los maestros vienen y tenemos reuniones, tenemos aprendizaje a los maestros, los estudiantes no vienen a la escuela ese día.
All right, Mr. Riley, we'll try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. The question I had about the purifier that you said you have in the lunchrooms, will you also have that inside the classrooms or ventilation systems? And how often will you change the filters in them?
Yes, so I wish I didn't have this blur on. I didn't know how to turn it off. I'm actually in one of the classrooms. Starting for summer school, each smaller room has one standing air purifier on the floor in the front of the room that extends out. The larger classrooms have 2 air purifiers each. The DOE is the one who did check the buildings to make sure that air filtration, everything is upgraded. We also have our own operations department at OCS who they do checks throughout the day on a rotating basis with a schedule, checking to make sure there's enough hand sanitizer, their ACs are on and running in the morning, and that the filters are clean. I'm sorry, I keep looking up at it. And the doorknobs are wiped down on a rotating basis. So it's happening consistently throughout the day to maintain, but we have changed out a lot of stuff.
Also as well, you said as far as the parents coming in, being that they mandated that you should be vaccinated when you go indoors. When the parents come into the school, are they mandated to be vaccinated? And also, how were you guys allowing the parents to come up? Are you doing the same thing as last year as to where somebody has to come downstairs to get you in case you have to come up and get your child, as you said, if they have any type of symptoms?
Yes, we are trying as much as possible not to allow visitors in the building. So we're trying to have parents come in only by invite only. And you would have to fill out the same questionnaire. It's 4 questions on it. And then somebody would come down and bring you up again.
So hubo 2 preguntas. Si hay purificador en las clases, y la respuesta es sí, hay purificador. Las aulas que son más grandes, tenemos 2. Y nosotros estamos siguiendo todos los requisitos de la ciudad. Estamos cambiando los filtros y limpiando estas clases para que se mantenga todo limpio. La segunda pregunta es que ¿cuál va a ser el requisito para los padres que vengan a la escuela? El requisito será que no pueden venir a la escuela si nosotros no los invitamos. Tiene que ser por invitación solamente. Entonces, cuando usted venga, tiene que llenar el cuestionario que su hijo llenará diariamente. Una persona irá abajo a recogerlo, entonces así podrá entrar al edificio, a la escuela.
My last question, are you guys keeping track of the vaccinated and non-vaccinated kids that are in the classes?
Taking this one, I guess. At this point, we have not asked students specifically if they're vaccinated or not vaccinated. It's on the questionnaire in the morning. So we are waiting to see what we are allowed to ask and what we are not allowed to ask, and we're waiting for guidance to come out on that. Which is the same, it was the same answer I saw a parent asked about staff being vaccinated. At this point, we've all seen on the news that it says it is mandatory for staff to be vaccinated by September 27th. That is what we are requesting now, that all staff be vaccinated by September 27th.
La pregunta es que si vamos a seguir los estudiantes o requerir que los estudiantes nos den prueba de que están vacunados. Hasta ahora no tenemos reglamento de la ciudad diciendo que podemos hacer eso. Entonces estamos esperando que la ciudad nos dé reglamento. Ustedes todos han visto que en las noticias ahora los profesores tienen que estar vacunados el 27 de septiembre. De ahí en adelante, sí podemos pedirles a los maestros que nos den prueba de que están vacunados. Pero cuando la ciudad nos dé reglamento sobre eso, entonces comenzamos a pedir prueba de los estudiantes.
Thank you. Ms. Montiel, you get the daily form. You can find it on the OCS NY website, or you can do it through Teacherese. If Alan's gonna be doing it himself, it's easier for him to save it on his phone or use the app. And that way it's a rotating thing, just in the morning before you come in, just do the screening form. Oh, and Ms. McCall also put in there, it's gonna be emailed out each morning as a reminder.
Angelique, we will not separate students by vaccination or non-vaccination because certain students are too young to get vaccinated as of now. So we cannot separate out.
Los estudiantes no serán separados entre los que están vacunados y los que no están. Hay estudiantes que todavía están muy jóvenes para conseguir la vacuna, entonces todavía no podemos hacer eso.
There's a question about busing. So busing for students, meaning the school bus, is only in place if that is on your child's IEP, if they have mandatory busing on their IEP. If they live far from the school and they do not have busing written on their IEP, then they will be provided with a Metro card. So the city doesn't provide busing based on distance, only if it is on a student's IEP. If you do have more questions about that, you need to contact someone, I'm gonna put that information in the chat.
Los estudiantes no consiguen transportación vía autobús si no está en su planteamiento de educación. Si no está en el planteamiento de educación, entonces los estudiantes se les da una tarjeta para que cojan el tren, MetroCard, le dan uno, no importa la distancia. No es por distancia, es por lo que se ha recomendado en su planteamiento de educación.
Bernice has a question.
Sí, una pregunta. Entré al website que me dieron para los school bus y estoy teniendo dificultad para llenar el formulario. ¿Con quién me podría comunicar para que me pudieran ayudar?
Who can she contact to get help to fill out the forms to get busing?
The only way you could get busing is if your student has a medical condition to get busing, you need a doctor's note. Ms. Chandler, you're gonna put Nisa's email inside the chat box?
I was gonna put her information as well as the Community Special Education 10, District 10 in there.
It has to be, we don't have the authority to change an IEP to include busing. It has to come from the Committee of Special Education.
Yeah, he does have busing on his IEP, and I already sent the 2 doctors. He was approved for that.
Okay, great. So if he was already approved, you're in. You should be getting information about how to do the busing. But Donna, if you could put the website in again where she could look for it for the busing. But once he's approved, and that's good. I can't see who wrote this about my daughter. I can't see the name. Miss Cruz, if your daughter does not have busing on her IEP, it is a process. So I would get started on it right away by reaching out to the CSE. Ms. Chandler is going to put the information. If you need help, the person in our school to help is Ms. Bilal. She will help you. But if you could get a doctor's note that says your child needs busing, that is a way to get it done. It's not an easy thing to get done. They don't provide it well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But reach out to us, we might be able to help.
Si su hijo requiere,
awesome.
perdón, sorry. Si su hijo requiere transportación por autobús, es necesario que comience el proceso ahora. Es un proceso largo y no es un proceso fácil. Si necesitas ayuda con eso, entonces se comunica con nosotros. La persona que trabaja con eso es la señora Bilal aquí en la escuela. Puede llamar a la escuela y comunicarse con ella para la ayuda. También hemos puesto en el chat diferentes direcciones por internet que puedes usar para ayudarse con ese proceso.
Ms. Hernandez, you have a question?
Mi pregunta es, si el niño ya tiene, bueno, el niño mío siempre ha tenido todos los años le dan el autobús, no he tenido que hacer renovaciones, pero ya él va para high school, ya no quiere usar el autobús. Para quitar el autobús, ¿qué debería yo hacer?
Okay, so her son has used the busing system. He's now going into high school and no longer wants to use the bus. What should she do to get rid of it?
She should call the bus company and tell them that she no longer wants to have busing, to take it off his IEP, and we will give him a Metro card.
Bueno, llame a la compañía de autobús, dígale que el niño no quiere seguir cogiendo el autobús, se lo quitarán del planteamiento de educación y le daremos una tarjeta para que coja el tren.
Gracias.
No hay
I
problema.
keep seeing a parent writing about the report cards not being up to date. Was this student in summer school at our school? Who's writing about the report cards? I've seen it a few times.
It's Andrea.
Yeah, here, Andrea and Nightblock. Was your child at our school for report and did get the report card updated?
Yes, I'm gonna double check, but the parents should be able to log into
I'm
teacher.
sorry.
Miss McHugh,
Yes.
they're asking about it being
I'm
updated
on-
on the New York chart, the New York City student, the website where you go to for city stuff. And I don't think we update our report cards on that site.
We
They'd
don't.
have to go into teacheries for that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm asking because I do not see, well, what I'm maybe, well, the reason why I'm bringing up the school's account is because when I first entered my son into the school, at the end, I know like towards the end or near the end of the August report cards or what have you are updated, like that final report card, as opposed to the report cards that are given. There's like that final report card grades that are updated into the school's accounts, because we were encouraged to look in the school's account all the time, look in the school's account to make sure everything is up to date. And but before I did that, I wanted to see if it was updated, if his credits and so forth were updated from his summer school session, and I haven't seen anything in the teacher.
Who is your son?
Isaiah Colton.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up right now and let you know, okay?
Okay. It's just a question.
Okay, no worries, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. McCall, can you just do a double check of the chats and see if there's anything outstanding? But I think we've answered a lot of questions. We're also gonna put our contact information in the chat in case you had a question and you wanna just email or text over or call over to the school.
Estamos viendo si hay más preguntas, pero si no hay más, vamos a poner nuestra información para que se comunique con nosotros.
And I just want to clarify about the Chromebooks. So we have, as much as possible for instruction, students are going to be using Chromebooks throughout the day, where they will have their own computer that they will be checking out from the school in the morning and turning in to charge. We sent out a survey, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, asking what technology your child has. If you have a personal computer or a laptop at home, then your child will not be taking that Chromebook home with them. If your child does not have that, then your child will be taking that Chromebook home with them in the event we ever have to shut down, to ensure that everyone has the materials and the technology that they need.
Queremos clarificar algo. Si los estudiantes, hace unas semanas atrás mandamos un cuestionario donde preguntamos qué tipo de tecnología su hijo tiene disponible en la casa. Si su hijo tiene disponible tecnología como laptops o computadora en la casa, entonces su hijo no cualificaría para sacar computadora de acá de la escuela y llevárselo a la casa en el evento de que nosotros cerramos la escuela. Si su hijo no tiene tecnología en casa y la escuela cierra, entonces sí, su hijo podrá sacar su computadora y llevársela a la casa. Diariamente, todos los niños se le dará una computadora que sacará y firmará. Esa computadora estará con el estudiante el día entero. Y otra vez, si el estudiante no tiene en la casa, entonces se le mandará en el evento de que cerramos la escuela. Pero si tienes en la casa, no conseguirá una.
Ms. Black, his report card is up to date. All his summer school classes are on his report card. So you could print it out. It's in its final draft, in its final state.
If you have another question about it, you can call us. I think it might be dropping down and changing the semester on the side. So it's probably just a technical issue if you want to call while you're doing it, if you're still having any issues with it. To close this out, I also put Ms. Francis' email and contact information in the chat. She wasn't available to be with us today, but she is going to be with us and her information is in the chat box. So I know we answered a lot of questions, some questions that we may have not thought of as of yet. Please reach out if you have questions between now and when we see you next week for orientation for new students and testing for returning students in both.
Okay. My daughter, she went for summer school. Hasn't been receiving any report card for her yet.
Amanda's report card is in Teacheries.
Okay.
We can send you the instructions via email so you can log in and take a look, or she can actually log in. She knows how to see it.
Very nice. Thank you.
No problem.
All
Thank
right.
everyone for coming.
Gracias por venir. Si no hay más preguntas, hemos puesto los medios de comunicación para la directora de intermedia y la directora de la secundaria. Si no hay más preguntas, gracias por venir.
Thank you.
Very excited, looking forward to a great year.